Alright, we are going to talk about IELTS speaking module now, which is one of the important components of IELTS, and your speaking test may be conducted before or after your listening, reading, writing. Venue is different and speaking test is interview with examiner. Like there is a table, one side you said and one side there's the examiner, and you have to answer the questions, okay? For IELTS speaking module, like you've got the book already, this is the book which you need to follow for speaking, and all the topics that we have in this book, especially part 1, part 2, part 3, they are really good ones. It's just like guess for actual exam, and you will get your speaking 70 to 80% from the same book, right? Now for your IELTS speaking, there are few things which you need to remember. When examiner starts your speaking test, examiner will ask you this question: do you work or study? And you need to answer in a way that if they ask you questions as a student, you should be able to handle them. They will say, do you work or study? You say, well, I study. At the moment, I'm just doing graduation, or I have recently completed my graduation, or I have just passed my intermediate, whatever your education is, okay? If you want to tell them that you are doing a job, so you can just say, well, I am doing a job. I am a banker by profession and I'm working with a multinational bank in my hometown, something like that. And if you are a stay-at-home lady, you can tell them straight away, I am a stay-at-home lady, I take care of my family. This question should be answered very briefly. Don't speak a lot. Do you work or study? Some people work, some people study. Today I would like to tell you what I do. I do both. I work and I study as well. In the morning I do. Don't give a long answer. Just give a short answer, to the point answer. Allow the examiner to select the next questions. Examiner will have a booklet like this with questions. So examiner will say, okay, student, all right, these questions. Homemaker, okay, these questions. A professional, okay, these questions. Now, these questions are not easy or difficult. Now, the boys cannot say, if I tell them I'm a homemaker, they will ask me easy questions. Not at all. Questions do not depend on your, status. Examiner has a book of questions. There is no category of questions. In part 1, they will ask you questions on familiar topics. Now, these familiar topics can be anything. Yes, topics are same. They've got around 200 topics. Okay, so out of 200 topics, they'll give you any topic, right? So for speaking part 1, there are few things you need to learn. Number 1, you need to learn 5 tenses. Present simple tense. For example, you say, I go for morning walk every day. Present simple. Past simple. Yesterday, I visited my friends. Future simple. I will go to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK. That is future simple. Next, we've got present perfect. I have just completed my assignment. I have reached my destination. I have achieved my desired band in IELTS. Inshallah, one day you will say. Okay, that is present perfect tense. And finally, present perfect continuous. I have been learning English for 5 years. I have been living in this city for 8 years or 10 years or since my birth. This is present perfect continuous. So you need to learn these 5 tenses because in actual exam, examiner will ask you questions related to these tenses. Apart from this, you need to learn WH questions. When, where, why, who, how long, how often, because the questions are like this. So if you know the WH question and then they use the tense, do you means present, did you means past, will you means future, how long have you been, present perfect continuous, right? So you need to identify the tense and tackle the questions according to the tense. And how to answer? Very simple. You can follow this 3-step formula to answer any question. First, there is a brief warning. In IELTS speaking, do not give irrelevant answer. Do not give indirect answer. Okay, don't try to talk about the background of that. Do you watch movies? Movies are very important part of life. Some movies are English movies, some movies are local language movies. Different people like to watch different type of movies. I also watch movies. Not this, okay? Be careful. Direct answer. Do you watch movies? Of course I do. and I love watching movies. Most of the time I love to watch action movies. So to answer your question, I am fond of watching movies. Don't repeat the same language. Use synonyms, use variety of words, give direct answer, quick answer. Quick answer is not a long answer, right? A very quick answer in 4 to 5 sentences. And in part 1, after 2 to 3 questions, you will be clear what is it that examiner wants. If you give a long answer, examiner will interrupt you and ask you the next question. If your answer is short, examiner will say why, why not? Why not means your answer is short, you need to add some more. So after 2 to 3 questions, you will be fine. And remember, sometimes in IELTS speaking test, examiners ask you so many questions that you might get confused. Why are they asking me so many questions? That means they are indecisive about your band score. Like examiner is not sure whether it should be 6 or 6.5 or 6 or 7. In that case, they ask you more questions. One thing. Second, if examiner has a doubt that you are giving memorized answers, like answers are coming from your memory, then they will ask you more questions. One of my students, he was asked 20 plus questions in speaking part 3. And another student, he was asked only 2 questions in speaking part 3, and examiner said, thank you so much. In both cases, answer every question with full attention, actively, and show interest. When they ask you questions, you need to enjoy, right? So all these things will bring you good bench score. And the books that you guys have, your 70, 80, 90% speaking will come from that book. So you can easily practice from there, right? Thank you.